This is perfect for the Sacramento Kings as Monte McNair just pulled off a sneaky trade that solves a serious problem the Kings have had over the course of this season. So we'll break down that trade as well as Zach LaVine having his introductory press conference here today and all the excitement that's percolating around the Sacramento Kings team now at this point with lots of interesting storylines, talented players coming into the mix, and of course, after De'Aaron Fox was sent out, I was pretty emotional. I was pretty fired up, particularly with the lack of draft capital that was sent back. But Monte McNair has done a pretty solid job at bringing in some talented guys. But the question is, how will it all piece together and whether or not he's finished? Because it looks like by all indications, there's still going to be a couple moves, a couple chess pieces moved by Monte McNair. So we're going to break down this trade, what's the current state of the Sacramento Kings, and why there's a little bit of rejuvenation amongst Kingsland here now at this point. But folks, again, you guys have been crushing it, hitting that sub button over this trade season. If you're a part of the 83% that haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, make sure you guys hit that sub button so you don't miss a single thing that's going on with the Sacramento Kings. But this was a very, very exciting trade that just happened for Sacramento. Again, after the De'Aaron Fox move was made, there was a little bit worries that that might be the only move, the only thing that happens, but no, that is not the case, as news came out today that Washington Wizards are trading Jonas Valanciunas to the Sacramento Kings for City Sissoko and 2 second-round picks, sources have told ESPN. Now, Jonas Valanciunas is a very, very good basketball player. He's a big man. He's not super mobile, so defensively there are still some problems in the rim protection space and stuff, but that's not the only thing. He's not going to be up there jumping and blocking a ton of shots. We can take a look at his stats. Basically, Jonas averaging 12 points per game this season, 8.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, shooting 26% from the three-point line. He can sneaky take a couple of three-point shots. Doesn't take a ton, but is capable enough to where he can randomly be a floor spacer. Even though it feels like he's been in the NBA forever, he's only 32 years old. And, you're not getting a ton of blocks per game. You're not getting the crazy rim protection or ability to switch by any means with Jonas Valanciunas. But what you're getting is an elite rebounder, an elite inside scorer out there at the center position, and a guy that really can change what lineups the Kings are able to run with over the course of this season. Because of course, Domas is a guy that's played the power forward position for, some people argue it's a much better 4. There's people that say it's a 5 modern NBA, all of this type of stuff, but he's a 4 or 5. Jonas Valanciunas allows the Kings to run competent lineups where both Domas and Jonas can actually be out there on the court together. Domas can play that forward position and get him into a more natural rhythm, more natural groove. And we've seen them play together in the past, Domas as well as Jonas Valanciunas, so they have a chemistry already built in for playing for that Lithuanian national team. So running that Lithuanian front court is going to be fun to watch, especially on the offensive end for this Kings team. So a really exciting narrative there, but one big thing is that forward depth, that big man depth for Sacramento. And of course, they let go of Orlando Robinson, which frustrated some people, but it's, he was dealing with some injuries and stuff over the season. But Jonas Valanciunas comes in as a stabilizing force for this squad and has frankly become one of the more underrated players across the NBA. So very, very excited to have a big man that can be effective rim scorer, effective bucket getter down underneath the paint, can also space the floor, he can knock down middies, he has one of the most elite pump fakes in all of basketball. He throws it up there, he just keeps faking, I get that in the green screen there, and people just bite on it. He can do it 4 or 5 or 6 times, and then someone will end up biting on that pump fake. So it's just exciting to see him actually get to, wear the purple white out here for Sacramento, and be able to have an impact out here on the squad, because again, he was playing with the Washington Wizards, who was coming off the bench for a lot of games for the Wizards too, and it just sucked to see him be in one of those situations. And now to have him on Sacramento, a team that's trying to compete, trying to contend, very, very exciting. A little bit of rejuvenation coming into the Sacramento squad after all of the madness, nonsense going on with the De'Aaron Fox. Not trade requests, but essentially trade that happened. And JV coming in is going to be I think he's going to quickly become a fan favorite amongst Kings fans, because he is a very fun guy to watch, and I think it's going to give some sneaky good production. And frankly, the Kings didn't have to give too much up for him. A couple second round picks, a guy that is going to be a legit rotation player for your squad. That's a huge positive. That's a huge positive for a guy that's coming in. But what else is going on with this Kings team that's trade deadline? Because we just saw Zach LaVine had his introductory press conference, and he had a lot of fun things to say about this Kings team. And of course, I'm still logically pretty emotionally for sure. De'Aaron Fox going out, not being able to get that much of a haul from for De'Aaron. 3 picks that weren't that great. It was what it was, but bringing in Zach LaVine is cool. And even though he is a phenomenal basketball player in terms of the stats, 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. The one concern is whether or not he'll be able to stay healthy. But healthy Zach LaVine, a guy that's locked in, still only 29 years old, shooting 45% from behind the 3-point line, 44% of corner threes. He's a legit guy. Like, he is by no means a scrub, by no means anyone that's washed. I thought you probably could have got him for cheaper or got more from De'Aaron Fox or things out there on that front, but because the Bulls were essentially trying to give away LaVine at certain points over the course of his Bulls career. But Vivek is trying to get Zach LaVine for a very long time. Signed him to a restricted free agency offer that ended up getting matched by the Chicago Bulls a few years ago, which LaVine brought up, which I forgot. But a guy that seems to want to be here, wants to play with DeMar. They have a nice little chemistry, even though it's memed. Hey, that was like the 8th seed out there in that squad. But those teams didn't have guys like Domantas. They didn't have guys like Keegan Murray. They didn't have guys like Malik Monk. And now Jonas Valanciunas that can come out and have an impact out there off the bench or certain games starting for this team. There's an interesting sort of lineup brewing for this Kings roster. I mean, we can take a look at it here now. And the one concern may be that Jonas is on a $10 million contract for multiple seasons. So that does play a factor. But you actually have legitimate front court depth now with this team, because you have Trey Lyles and Jonas Valanciunas being able to come off the bench, out there in your front court. So you don't have Trey Lyles being your backup center. Obviously, Alex Len has been that, but he's not that guy for this team. Out there on the wings, you still have Keelan, you still have Kobe. You have a lot of guys that can come out and have an impact, up and down this roster here now. And different games might be used for different scenarios. You need some more 3-point shooting, throw out a Dougie McDermott. But you need more defense. Devin Carter gets extra run. There's a lot of different options that Christie has at his disposal in order to make things happen here now at this point. Now, again, what are the big problems for Sacramento? What are the big things that need to be addressed, need to be fixed over the course of this trade deadline, ideally? And one of them was 3-point shooting. Getting off of Kevin Huerter, and because he was brutal from the 3-point line, and adding Zach LaVine, that certainly does help. Rebounding was certainly a big issue for this squad, and of course, Jonas Valanciunas is going to help out in that front, having a backup center, being able to run Domas at the 4, and then really the biggest thing is defense. And if this squad can figure out maybe one of those like 3-4 combo forwards that are reliably can be in the rotation and play elite defense, then don't be shocked if the Kings make a little bit of a run to close off this year. Maybe it's biased, maybe it is whatever it is, but I'm pretty excited about this Jonas Valanciunas trade, like him being able to come in, actually have an impact out here on the squad, and then see what direction this team goes. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about all this, all the trades that have been happening across the NBA. It's been a whirlwind. It's been crazy over the past little while. So hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.